Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of A Day in Film SpookyCast. Today on the SpookyCast, I'm going to be talking about Dashcam, directed by Rob Savage, which came out in 2021. I only really watched this movie because my girlfriend is a huge fan of it. Well, not a huge fan of it, but just a big fan of how crazy it is, and I wanted to see what this movie was all about. I knew some friends who had seen it too, so I had not really high hopes because the reviews are generally low. On Letterboxd it has a 2.3, but I was hopeful that it would pull something out of me, and it managed to pull a combination of, it was like a very weak feeling of how the hell are they still going. With movies like Under the Silver Lake and Stop Making Sense, just so you guys know, I didn't mean Stop Making Sense like the Talking Heads movie. I meant Sorry to Bother You, directed by that one guy. Sorry about that. You get the same feeling where it is just constantly going and going and going, getting more and more and more absurd. So Dashcam does this to a much less degree, or to a much smaller degree, I should say, because all it does is it just keeps bringing the bad guy back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me summarize Dashcam for you. It takes place in 2021. It is a COVID movie through and through. This is a Blumhouse film as well, I want to say. It follows a live streamer named Annie Hardy, or just Annie, and it follows her misadventures through her London vacation. She goes from LA to London because she hates the fascist control that the government had over the United States back in 2021. Annie is a very unlikable main character. She is like her character is one of those anti-mask, COVID deniers from 2021. And as a result, her character is just very unlikable. She's just generally a very nasty, annoying person. And even though at least I started to sympathize with her after a little while, once she was like really deep into the shit, basically, her character is still pretty annoying, and her best friend Amar is pretty much just as annoying. No, not just as annoying, but he's just boring compared to her because she's so extreme. This movie is not very scary. It relies on jump scares, and this movie's whole gimmick is that it's like a live stream. It's being live streamed by Annie. She is a car beatboxer live streamer or something. I don't remember her exact title. She's like a car DJ or something. But she only does that like 4 or 5 times in the movie, and even though some of it is live streamed, a majority of like at least 30 minutes of the movie are not live streamed, so it just feels like a kind of worthless gimmick that just clutters the screen a little, but at least it looks like it's found footage. I'm just not huge on it. It feels very like tacked on at the end. Like, sure, there are a couple jokes or a couple moments where either Amar will look at the chat and do something because the chat's shitting on him, or Annie will react to the chat and say something like, "Guys, stop asking me to see your tits," whatever. Just like a funny little joke. A majority of the rest of the film, it feels completely just, again, tacked on. The effects were not very good either. The blood looks like strawberry chocolate syrup from the bottle, which is okay. I guess it's a style choice probably. But when the movie isn't scary and it's not very... it does take especially towards the latter half when it gets even more and more and more absurd, it does certainly take advantage of the fact that it's a very violent movie. But the setting is also a big problem in this movie because a majority of this film's second act just takes place on a freeway somewhere. It doesn't feel like it's a very important location. It's just like, oh, there's a ditch over here and some trees over there, and their car's stuck here. And they're there for a majority of the film. One of the things they do in this movie is the way they move the camera. It almost makes it look like Annie, or even sometimes Amar, is teleporting, like zip-zapping across the place. It's a kind of cool little thing you notice, and it's not that bad. The movie does get crazy. Some notable moments, which are not really spoilers, is when Annie breaks a lady's arm with the steering wheel, when the antagonist is killed with the car seat headrest. When Amar falls from a tree and is still okay, There are multiple scenes in this movie where the character who suffered the injury should have just died. But I guess it's just a thing to keep the movie chugging along. This movie's only like an hour 13, so it really isn't a huge waste of your time. Now, would I recommend you personally go out and watch it? No, I would not say, unless you have some friends to watch it with, which would, I guess, make it a bit more fun because you could all just kind of group shit on the movie. This is not a... I don't imagine this was a very popular movie. Again, 2.3 on Letterboxd. The director hasn't done anything else really notable. Rob Savage is his name. He made Hope and The Boogeyman, and that's pretty much it, man. Overall, I gave Dashcam a 4 out of 10. It's just really not great. I, again, would not recommend you go and watch it. But if you like... I've heard that this movie is very similar to VHS, or at least a chunk in the original VHS or something like that. So if you like that, then, I mean, maybe check it out. I don't know how true it is because I haven't seen VHS. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will see you in the cemetery.